So hey, I'm back after forever of not being able to do videos due to a lack of inspiration or motivation, whatever you want to call it. I wanted to do one, of course, over Mercury retrograde, so let's hope this lasts through the retrograde. I wanted to cover a couple of the basics and then a few of the bigger transits that are going to go on. When you think of Mercury retrograde, a lot of people tend to associate it negatively, especially since you see things like our appliances breaking down, car accidents, cars breaking down, our exes come back to visit, old friends that we thought were gone, those kind of things. So when we see these things come back or these little things break here and there, it's because it needed to be settled. So Mercury has been going in one direction and we've left some things behind that really needed to be attended to. So now that Mercury is coming back, it gives us the chance to reevaluate and actually complete what needed to be done that we didn't do before. A really good story that I like to talk about with this is one that happened in my own home. We had a small piece in our dishwasher for a while that would pop up when we would do the dishes, and we would just put it down and not really worry about it. But we knew that it was broken, but it didn't seem like a big deal. Well, when Mercury went retrograde, that piece popped up while we were doing a load of dishes overnight, and it flooded our whole upper level of our house. So Mercury knew that we needed to fix this broken piece because it could be potentially even worse than what it was. So when it went retrograde, it showed us the lesson that we needed to fix it when it happened. So that's what happens when you see an ex come back or an old friend or a situation that you've been through before. There's something there that you missed that you need to learn, and it needs to be settled, talked about, especially with Mercury. The communication is a big part of that. But when it comes to Mercury retrogrades, you aren't supposed to begin anything kind of new. Any contract you have to sign, make sure you read every little bit of fine print and understand everything. Miscommunications can run rampant. That's why we end up bickering with the people around us. Any kind of new car, that's a big no-no, especially because Mercury does control short travel, which is in cars. That's why you see the accidents and the breakdowns there. So try to, if you think about starting something new, keep it in that phase for right now. Keep it as a thought. Really go over the details in your mind, especially with the retrograde weighing into some more introspection. It's better to really think these things through during these times and wait for Mercury to go to direct to actually put action into them. So I wanted to go through some of the transits that we have coming up with Mercury retrograde. When it actually went retrograde, it was at 29 degrees Pisces, and it was conjunct a 0 degrees Aries Chiron. Where you see Chiron come into play with anything like that, you have to realize that there's old wounds being brought up, things that are really deep and unsettling to other people. And you can see people playing their wounds off on you, and you might even be the perpetrator of that, playing your wounds off onto someone else who didn't deserve it. This is a good time to really recognize where those wounds play out and where you can find healing in that and provide it to others. Also, the sun was conjunct Neptune whenever Mercury went retrograde, so that puts more of that Pisces influence in there, where there's the creative expression, there's the subconscious diving, there's the escapism, the spirituality, those kind of things. And you might be feeling honestly just tired. Pisces is a lot of spiritual work, so there's a lot of mental activity that lays there beneath the surface. So halfway through the day you're just exhausted because there's a whole lot of laboring up here that you don't even realize. Tomorrow, March 6th, we have the new moon in Pisces, and easy associations with new moons are new beginnings. Anything new that you want to grow, those kind of things. Pisces, the dreams, following your intuition, those kind of things. But it also comes with Uranus moving finally into Taurus, and it'll be at 0 degrees. Uranus is a rebellious, electric, eccentric game changer, and at 0 degrees, it really has an open potential to do whatever it wants. So with the new moon and the Uranus action, there's a whole lot of room for play for unexpected things. Branch out on a limb, go outside of your box, and don't be surprised when you see it around you. In Taurus, we're looking at it affecting things like your diet, your luxuries, your comforts, money, your home, those kind of things. So those are what you kind of want to watch out for that. On March 9th, Mercury will square Jupiter and sextile Pluto. Both of those will be exact on the 15th. When Mercury squares Jupiter, we have to be aware that we could be speaking and thinking things that are contrary to our growth and moving in directions that aren't really the best. It's a hard energy to harness. It was sextiles to Pluto. That's where you can pull in some of the transformative side of it. You want to look at these things and cut out what's not good and realize what needs to be left behind. On March 12th, Mercury will conjunct the sun. So the sun sheds light on anything it touches. It also is tied into our ego and our identity, those kind of things. So that's where the thought process, the communication, those kind of things are going to be. And it's still, like I said, all of these things are still in Pisces. So you're still looking at the spirituality, the intuition, the undoing of the ego, the truer self, the wholer self. On March 14th, Mercury will sextile Mars and Saturn. Mars will be sextile exact on the 17th and Saturn on the 19th. Mars is where you add motivation, action, drive. It also comes with temper. So when Mercury is tied to this planet, you see energetic thinking, energetic communication, but also lively debates that can get heated. So watch for that. That could be a time where bickering is more common. And Saturn is where we see tough lessons, discipline, where you need to, unfortunately, kind of learn to watch what you say and watch what you think. And that is a good thing to bring up with Mercury retrograde, is sometimes it's better just not to speak. Keep it up here and wait on what you want to say. And then for our final splash of Pisces being thrown at us, on March 17th, and it'll be exact on the 23rd, this Mercury will conjunct Neptune, and Neptune is the natural ruler of Pisces. So that's where you add more of the dreaminess. It can come with delusions and illusions, but the key phrase I like to remember with Pisces and Neptune is perception is reality. So what doesn't make sense to you, what it seems totally illogical or outside of your thinking, is very real to the next person because it's their perception. And they might be seeing you in the same manner. They don't get the way you're thinking. They don't get how you could take certain things that way. But to you, it is very real. And that is a big thing to keep in mind with this Mercury retrograde, is to step out of your reality and your little world and make sure that you're not infringing on someone else's and they're just not able to get out of their little world to understand yours. Escapism comes big with this. So of course, you have to watch for things like drugs, alcohol, the unhealthy escapes. One thing that I really like to dive into is reading. Pisces is big into music and art, so find some kind of creative outlet. And like I said, it is not to be rough about it, but just shush for a little bit. Take some time for introspection, for you to kind of center yourself and get back in touch with the person that's in here that not everyone knows. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.